Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy CIZZY back at it again with another episode of the Voices of Value podcast, where we talk to people who we believe to have valuable voices in the community. And Tasia is one of those individuals, so she will be speaking today. I'll let her introduce herself shortly. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? If you follow tech, you know that OpenAI hired, then fired again, and hired and fired within 36 hours Sam Altman, who is the founder of what you guys know as ChatGPT, but which is a larger organization, which is OpenAI, Open Artificial Intelligence, in which they create a multitude of different types of products, the most popular being ChatGPT, which everyone in the world has been fascinated by in the past 2 years. It was a whole entire saga, entire tech saga. If you guys watch, I'm going to tap into some of our guests on set right now really quick. But boss, what was that movie, that show that you liked watching? Was it Billions, the business show with the one that you were watching and the whole family and all that? No, one more guess. It was a big popular one on HBO. Everyone was watching. It might be, wow, she's forgetting, but feel free to yell it out. Anyways, if you guys love those business shows on like HBO, Succession, thank you. Real life Succession just happened in the past week with ChatGPT, Microsoft CEO Satya, the board of OpenAI, and I'm thinking about having one of the guests that we've had on in the past, Malad Ghasempour, on the show to give a full breakdown of what happened. But if you're unaware of what's going on in that space, I suggest you go research that right now, and that is going to be the conclusion of our world business news. Really quick, I just want you guys to do research on that yourselves. Very interesting saga. With that being said,
I had no clue about all of that.
Oh, okay. It was crazy. Go read it. It wasn't like too much drama, but it was business, like tech business drama.
Yeah.
A lot of drama within like 36 hours. No, like people getting beat up and shit, but people getting hired. And then like, oh, the board was trying to get this person out, but then they were like, damn, we shouldn't have got him out. So then they wanted to hire him back. And then the whole like 600 people from ChatGPT or OpenAI was like, we're going to leave if Sam's leaving. And then, yeah, it was a whole saga.
So he's a big influence in that.
He's technically the creator, the founder, the person who brought that whole thing to life. So it was kind of crazy to see them try to fire him. You know, when you have a board, there's always some bullshit with like boards where like when you have to hire a board so you have feedback and like an advisory from people in different industries to help your business grow. But the thing that sucks is that they also have voting power, so they can vote you out of your job even if you're the person who founded and created the company. So it's a very interesting thing. But we'll have Malad come on and cover that in full sometime this week. Outside of that, Tasia, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. Just stare them right in the camera with that beautiful face. Tell them who you are.
Hi, my name is Tasia. It's like Asia, but with a T in front. Alexandria. And guess I'm a model, a director, executive assistant for a designer, and an actress.
I love it. And which one of those is your favorite thing to say? You're going into a networking meeting or going into a space where there's like hundreds of people you're about to meet. Like, what's your go-to one? Like, if you have to speak in like 5 seconds, it looks like somebody's trying to imagine you run into Obama, right? And Obama's like, what do you do? But he has to go. What are you going to say real fast?
Oh, no. I'd be like, oh, yeah. I'm like an executive assistant to a designer. I kind of run this show here and there. If the designer isn't there, I'm the one that helps out a lot. I give people directions.
I love it. Yep. I love it. During my research, I was very confused because I came across 2 last names.
Dun, dun, dun. You are correct.
Could you explain to me which one is the one that people normally call you and which one you would like to be called? And then the reasoning, if you're comfortable, behind the both of them.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. One is Butler. I'm pretty sure that yep. Good job. I'm so proud of you. Most people don't know that. They're very confused whenever they see the last name Butler at the end of Tasia Alexandria. So with that being said, Tasia Alexandria is the one that is more professional for me. I go by that because it sounds a little bit more strong and just straight to the point, like don't mess with her. But Tasia Butler is more like, oh, she's Tay-Tay, part of our family. You know,
I love it.
And then just work-wise is Tasia Butler as well.
Okay, understandable. Because I was like reading, I was like, all right, so I see 2 different spellings of Tasia on this website, but then I see 2 different last names. I said, all right, she's a shapeshifter or something. Like, what's going on here? I was about to ask you where all you lived, and then I watched the other interview, and you like Kansas City, born and raised.
Yeah.
But if I would have saw different spellings of your name and saw, oh, I grew up in Kansas City here, Des Moines here, then I would think that you was like one of them folks that be like running frauds and shit.
Well,
and then you be disappearing.
I actually wanted to be, that was my wish since I was like little. I thought that I was going to be part of the CIA. I really thought that.
Okay. Interesting. And what? Let's dive into that. So young little baby Tasia, CIA was a part of the interest. What other career paths did you consider as you were getting? And consider as a strong word, because when we're 7 and 8 and 9 and 12 and 14, our mind is all over the place. But what are some of the things that you remember being strongly passionate about?
Okay, yeah, psychology was one of them, and then another thing was definitely being a detective, and yeah.
So psychology and a detective and CIA. Okay, why?
Oh man, come on! Being a part of the CIA, kicking butt out here, that would be so cool.
Compared to when it comes to watching the movies, I'm sure we all wanted to be part of CIA at some point. Did you watch a lot of like investigative shows growing up?
Yes, very much so.
If so, what were your go-tos? Or what are your go-tos now if you don't remember the ones?
Oh no, still Psych. Psych is one of my favorite ones. It's just lighthearted and whatnot, but solving crime and all of that. I guess it was just all the shows put together. I always loved all of them. So
CSI Miami was the shit for me. I used to be watching CSI Miami, NCIS, the old school version. I don't remember what city that was in. SWAT when it first came out, not the newest versions of SWAT. And then I used to watch Cops a lot just because I was like, maybe they'll put Kansas City on here one day. And of course they did one day.
They did.
And that was an interesting experience. I'm like,
they recently put it
I think
back
I recognize
on
this person. But nah, I love that. So whereabouts in Kansas City did you grow up? Where'd you go to high school? And then, like, when you were in high school, what were some things that you were participating in that kind of led you into the career path of really just being a creative overall, but a model, an actor, a director, just all things creativity. So, like, let's walk through that process.
Okay. So I stayed in the 30s, born and raised there, just lived there pretty much all that time. But I went to Park Hill because we bought a house out there, and I just stayed over there pretty much by myself. My parents knew that I was a good girl, so I just stayed there. But in school, went to psychology class, went to theater, musical theater, also into anime. They made me the president of Dungeons and Dragons Club, even though I never played it.
Interesting.
They just had me drawing over there, and then they had me read off some stuff, but I never knew how to play it.
Do you know how to play it now?
No, I still don't.
So
People trying to teach me how to play Magic, and I still don't know.
So you were the president of the Dungeons and Dragons Club, but never learned how to play.
I don't understand to this day. I'm like, how did this happen? I was there for every meeting. I'm like, what is wrong with y'all?
What did you learn during that period? Did you make any new friends? Was there anything?
Oh, yeah.
Was there anything like interesting from whatever you caught out of that experience that you carried on, or is it kind of just like, nah, it's just a random story in my life?
Oh no! I learned a lot. I learned that I had a very big imagination. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mike. And then I just
sorry, that was funny because I was like, who the fuck is Mike?
This is Mike.
I was like, who's Mike? I was like, Mike who? What's that song? What's that? Mike Jones. Yo, anyways, I wish I could just like press a button. What are the things called? The little audio board buttons that you can play?
Yeah.
Every time like a guest hits the mic from here on out on the Voices of Value show, we should have a sound that goes, Mike Jones. Anyway, sorry. Continue. I'm sorry, Mike.
Sorry, Mike. And then I also learned how to communicate with people just everywhere. That was another thing. Basketball. I played basketball and volleyball. And also was like a manager for the track team. I did a lot.
You sound like you was busy.
Yeah, I was busy.
So you were the president of a club, Dungeons and Dragons club that you don't know how to play and don't know how to explain to anybody, but you did know how to be a president.
I knew how to direct people. Go like, nope, go there. Do this. You're wearing that hat now. I'm drawing it down.
I'm drawing it down. I love it. Okay. And then we had sports. So how big of a part of your life were sports? Were they something you just participated in because people made you feel like you should participate because you're tall?
So that was the thing. My parents, they saw that I was pretty good at basketball. And since the age of 3, I was playing it up until I decided to retire my sophomore year.
Where'd you put your jersey? Did you put it in the rafters?
No.
They're real high.
No,
Just
they took that.
You
They
stapled it up against the Park Hill rafters. Like, I'm going to act like I'm a Hall of Fame. Put this mug up here. You're going to be like, when you have your first kid, you be like, hey, listen, son, back in the days, I was a ball player. Now, I know I didn't make it to the WNBA because I hurt my knee. You see that up there? Mama, I can't see it. Yeah, it's okay.
It's all the way. If you squint, you can kind of see
It's all the way
the
up there.
number.
Mama, it's only 12 feet tall.
No. They took my jersey. It's okay.
Do you miss any aspect of sports, or maybe should I ask, do any aspect of sports still exist in your life today? Like, are you still participating for fun in like adult league basketball, or do you just work out? Like, what's your thing now that you pulled from sports back in the day?
So I think my biggest thing about being part of a sports team was the team aspect itself. So everything that I do, I always look towards how is this going to benefit everyone instead of myself. Because whenever you're a ball hog out there, you don't get a whole lot of stuff done. Yeah, you look cool out there. You might get some points, but you need the whole team to run. Another aspect is I'm able to see the whole floor. I'm able to see what's needed for the whole team, what's needed for the whole game. How do we keep our stamina up? Is that the right word for it? Yeah, our motivation, just the whole drive to keep going in the game consistently. Yeah, that's.
I love it.
Yeah, no, it's
So
my favorite.
taking aspects of the leadership aspects of sport and kind of applying it to your life as you exist as a model or as a director or as an actor.
So that was one of the things I think I knew that I had somewhat good leadership skills was one time when we were playing scrimmage against the A team and I was on the B team because I didn't like being part of the A team during that time. It was just a whole lot of ego stuff going on, pride. I was like, just put me on the B team. And B team never really won anything, and that's okay. But once we scrimmaged against the A team, I was like, oh no, we're about to win. I was like, I hope you guys know this. We didn't have a coach or anything. The coach was on the A team. So I had to be the coach. And yeah, we won.
I love it. That was the first testament of leadership. And Tasia's like, she's like, oh, hell no, I'm about to lead everything I run now.
I was like, never again will I stay on the sidelines. I'm about to help everyone.
I love that. And so when we think about what you're involved in today and, you know, kind of how I've met you and how I've been introduced to you, it's in the modeling aspect, primarily in terms of my experience with you, but you're also acting heavily and then directing as well as like you said, your executive assistant position with Runway Review KC, right?
Yep.
Is that right? Okay, perfect. And we'll dive into all of those, but I kind of want to start with modeling. What are you most excited about right now in regards to modeling? It can be from a personal standpoint, like just taking photos by yourself and you're like, I've been trying out this new thing at home, or it can be professionally in terms of trying to get a bag through it. But from either one of those perspectives, as a model, what is something that you're excited about right now?
I'm very excited about meeting the right people. That's always like the focal point of everything that I do, meet the right people. So back in the day when I first started, it was just a whole lot of models that I just did not like working with and whatnot. So, but now that I'm older and I'm able to decipher, pinpoint who is actually going to help me and I can help them too without it being a problem, I love working with those people. Yeah, I like making connections.
Elaborate on that a little bit. So when you say meeting the right people, so first off, to clarify, are you speaking about just the right people that you want to be around in that space, or like in terms of like models to work with, like your co-partners on shoots, or are you saying like directors or like the type of brands you want to work with, or do you mean in all aspects? And if so, I guess what type of people are you looking to work with? Try to break down what that person looks like.
Okay, with the model, I would like to actually be able to know that we are going to work together, that there's not going to be just any hate right there. If there is hate, then I get to actually know that there is, and I know what's up with you. Just be upfront with what you actually want. Then I'll be okay because you brought yourself up to the table. I know who you are. Then we can work with that. With the director part of it, with them directing me, as long as they let me know what they want up front, okay, let's go ahead and do that. Actually, last year, I dealt with a person that I knew, that I thought that I knew, but then they ended up not being the person that I thought that they were.
The way they projected themselves initially was different than what you experienced when working with them.
Yeah, like this was like one of the worst experiences that I ever had. The guy actually took videos of me while I was changing. That was the most wild thing ever. So I'm like, now I'm able to pinpoint those people.
Got you. And unfortunately, you know, I'm sure a lot of women who are listening right now who have participated in the space of modeling specifically have ran into what we can simply just call predators.
Yep.
And unfortunately, kind of ruining the experience for other men that are photographers in the space who have genuine intentions to just create and be a normal human being who wants to create. I've heard so many stories when I was living in LA. I've heard so many industry stories in terms of for models here in Kansas City running into that. So I guess for anybody who might be listening to this today, tomorrow, in a year, or whatever, who is trying to get into modeling for the first time, what would you say they should be aware of, or like energies or things or language they should be aware of to be like, this dude is a little off in terms of, like, I guess you could say some warnings that women should look after when they're getting into modeling at first? For
any shoots, don't let them take you out of your comfort zone. Number one, always stay in your comfort zone and stand your ground on that. If you're going to be nice, don't be overly too nice, because then they'll try to take that for granted and just use that to manipulate you. But if you're smart, use it to your advantage. Another thing is always bring someone with you, or at least tell probably 2 to 3 people where you're about to go, and let the photographer or videographer know that you told a few people too. Yeah. And don't always look around wherever you're changing. Just always be aware of where you're changing at and stuff like that. Even if they leave out the room, be aware of where the camera is and everything like that. Just be aware.
I love it.
And don't be afraid to fight.
There we go. That part. Thank you for sharing that. I think way too many people have run into that experience. So the more they're aware of how they can avoid situations like that, always the better. What about in terms of your best experience in from your modeling years? So I've seen plenty of different photo shoots of you, so I know you've been involved in a lot of different shoots. What has been your favorite experience? Maybe it's because of the outfit you wore and you thought it was really cool, or maybe it was the makeup artist that did some really cool shit, or maybe the photographer was really just amazing, or the shoot was a beautiful spot. What's one shoot that really stands out in your head as one of your favorite experiences?
Just one shoot? Okay, I'm going to have to say the first one that I've ever done was with Stephanie Romero. She's
That's
the one
a pretty
that
name. So if you're watching this, very pretty name.
No, she's beautiful. Just everything about her is beautiful. She's the one that put me on to modeling. Well, Shelby Payne is the first one who put me on to modeling, but then she introduced me to Stephanie. But Stephanie put me on. It was my first fashion show. I was so scared, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I met some really good people from that. It was at KCI Airport. And it was like a hair show, fashion show or something like that. And I met one of my closest friends, longest friends, Kamisha Kimbrell. She's like a makeup artist now. So I just met some really cool people in there. It was just good vibes. And that was whenever I was like, oh, I can actually do this. I have enough confidence to walk down on a red carpet like this with everyone watching. Photographers, this is great. Just everyone was nice.
Yes, ma'am. And that makes a lot of sense. I think when we think about experiences in any space, but especially, I believe, probably in the modeling space or acting, is like, number one, our first experience where we prove to ourselves that we have the capability and the capacity to overcome these fears that we have internally. And we're able to like step over that barrier and be like, man, I don't know why I was so shook for the past 2 weeks. Because, there's them butterflies leading up to it too. You're just like, I kind of feel sick today. Can I make it? Can I make it? And you're like, no, I have to go. And then you go. And then you get there and you're still a little awkward, like, hi, hello. And then people are like, oh, come on over here. And you're like, okay, I like her energy. And then this person's like, you look amazing. You're like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit better. And then they're like, oh, these shoes are going to look amazing. And you're like, damn, I do look good. And then the energy starts, sorry, Mike Jones. Anyways, and then you pick up that energy and you kind of just are like, oh shit, I can do this. And that really stands out as an amazing experience. And then part two of something you mentioned there is really just the amazing people you can meet at these shoots. I think, where we met for the first time, just like my guy Daryl, who was recently on the show, was at the ASAP shoot. And at the ASAP shoot, I was like, my girl's in the background right now, ladies and gentlemen. I was telling her, I don't want to go. Like, why are you asking me to go? Don't put my name in there because I don't model, I don't act, I don't do any of this. I'm a podcaster.
Well,
that's what I do.
y'all.
You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, I'm not trying to be there. Like, leave me alone. But she's like, I'm going to just put your name in there anyways, essentially. And then she's like, okay, you're going to show up there then? I was like, sure. So I show up. I'm not excited. For the first 2 hours, me and who's the redhead?
Oh, Ellis.
Me and Ellis is sitting there on the couch for like 3 hours before we finally get called out. I'm just pissed. I'm getting ready to leave. Finally, when we get out there, you know, on set, and I start meeting people and connecting and feeling the energy and seeing how the directors are working, then that's where you're like, I see why people like this.
It's the magic.
And that, exactly, it's the magic and the energy from all the creators and people who are trying to be the best version of themselves in the moment to like put on their best performance, which is always great to see people in like the energy to be the best version of themselves. Like, hey, I'm here to perform. I'm here to do my best. I'm also here to have fun and meet and connect people. So that makes a lot of sense on why your first one at KCI was enjoyable. Quick side note though, was that in a terminal? Like, what do you mean at KCI? Was like outside, like in a park?
It was inside. Yeah, everything was inside. They had
inside, as in like where people would get on the plane inside. That's why I'm confused.
I think it was downstairs area where the baggage claim was.
Oh shit,
whatnot.
That's kind of dope.
And side note, I wasn't supposed to be there at the ASAP Rocky shoot.
Okay, so you trying to share how you ended up in there?
What had happened was my uncle had some pool. And he knew the people who was producing it.
Okay, sick.
Yeah, so I don't know. We rode in on a motorcycle.
And then you was like, I'm here now.
Yep, I was like, hey guys, I'm here. And everybody's like, what are you doing here? I'm here.
Like, make use of me. Nah, facts. You was just there. I was like, oh, yeah. Who's that?
I just popped up.
Yeah, nah, that's what's up. Side note, hair. Now, okay, so for my lady, for my sisters, and now for you. I'm always confused. You know, Sunday I'll see somebody with like a haircut and I'll be like, okay, I like this hair. And then the next day it's a whole different hairstyle. I'm like, wait, is it new hair or is the other hair a different type of hair? So when I met you, you had really short hair. So like, I love this hair too. But which hair of the hairs I've seen you with is your natural haircut?
I bought them all, so they're my hair.
Yes, everybody snap. We need cameras over there too. We need cameras on the BTS. Okay, I like that. You know what? We're just gonna move on from that question.
I'll let you know after. But
all right, say less. You know,
they're all my hair.
Stare it down. Let them know. Big bars. Love them all. We'll discuss after the fact. Okay, perfect. So, same question, different industry. Okay. What are you most excited about right now as an actress? So there's a few shows and movies I've seen you act in that, you know, I will dive into a little bit later. But in terms of coming up next or something you're working on, what are you really excited about in the space of film?
Okay. No. I love acting so much. Okay. So this recent film got choked out. Yeah, it was amazing.
Wait, like somebody choked you out. You went to sleep?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it was cool. You could see the veins in my
hell no.
veins and everything.
That's what my girl looked like every day with the veins in her hair. She looked like she got choked out. Ooh, clowning off.
What?
Clowning off.
You're beautiful.
We got to clown after. We got to make sure people is laughing. You know, and sometimes you got to clown your partner. I mean, I'm sorry, live on channel. You got to do what you got to do.
On a podcast.
But so how did they propose that to you, or did you offer that up? Like, hey, I'm trying to go to sleep. Or were they like, hey, I'm trying to go to sleep. They were like, well, perfect. We were actually looking for somebody to get choked out. Like, how did that come about? Can we talk about that shortly?
Yeah, it's AGA Productions, Film Productions. You know about them?
We had Daryl talk about them on the
that was the same film that he's in.
Beautiful,
yeah,
beautiful.
We worked
so
together.
He's discussed the film a little bit, so I think you are allowed to say it because he already talked about it.
Okay, cool, because I was like, I don't know.
He already let some of it go live.
Oh, man. I don't know what he told you, but his scene is brutal.
Oh, okay. I'm excited. He didn't really tell me much about his scene. He kind of just shares what he was excited about there, so I love that. So what's the storyline for anybody who didn't watch the episode but's going to watch yours? What's kind of like the storyline behind this movie? What's like if you're allowed to share that?
All right.
If you feel comfortable
long
sharing
story
it.
short, just be aware of new people that come in acting like that they're your best friends, and it turns out that they are crazy. Like for real crazy. Trying to copy you and everything. Look out for the copycats.
Look out for the copycats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bars.
Yeah.
We gonna rock.
No, they should write that in a song. Look out for the copycats.
A Future would definitely make a good song out of that. So movies that you've participated in or short films that you've participated in the past, which one's one of your favorites? I think I was able to count from my research 5 or 6 short films, or maybe 4 or 5, but out of the ones I'm missing or those 4 or 5, what was your favorite one to participate with? And it may not even have been your role that you loved. It was just the cast, but I guess what was your most enjoyable experience?
Okay. I want to say one of the most professionals, I want to say the first professional shoot that I was a part of that I can actually say that I was like, wow, they have a fake moon there. That's amazing. It looks like the real moon in the lighting. It was Spiderwebs. Yeah, it was this film called Spiderwebs where I played a cop. It was just for a short scene. I played a cop.
How did that feel to live out your detective dreams?
Oh yeah, it was great. Well, I was like a sucky detective, so like, yeah, I kind of did not do my job correctly in that film. I just played off the whole killer scene, just like, oh well, somebody died. That sucks. You almost died. That sucks.
I have a off the cuff question. If there was a movie that you love, you told me before we started the episode that you and your family used to go see movies the day after Thanksgiving, like as sort of a tradition. So on the topic of movies and film, if you think about your favorite movie, name it, and then what role or what type of role would you have liked to play in that movie?
The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Okay, now I have no idea who's in that, so I'm going to act like I know who's in it. But long story short, what role would you have liked to play in that movie?
If Emma Stone's character, which she was Gwen Stacy, spoiler alert, she, didn't make it.
She died.
You have to watch the movie. She may or may not have.
Didn't you just tell us?
No, I didn't. With that being said, if she didn't die, I would have liked her to become Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen.
Yeah.
I must not have seen enough of these Spider-Man movies because Spider-Gwen is something I've never I'm not familiar with this. Is that
my
a
goodness,
thing
you
in
haven't
like the
watched
Spider-Man series?
Oh my gosh. It's a whole Spider-Verse out
Don't
there.
Cry. Oh, that's why it's called the Spider-Verse, because there's a whole bunch of different comics, movies, shows that go into it to tell different parts of it.
You haven't been teaching him?
She don't know nothing about this, man. She be out here watching crime shows like you. Yeah, look, we be watching murder. But murder. But
oh yeah,
okay.
You can sing. I did.
On occasion. So you not down to talk about the singing, by the way? Because if not, we'll totally skip over that. But it was definitely a part of my discussion topics.
Really? What question did you have?
So I really
from that?
want to just know, is that a passion of yours that you're interested in exploring? Because I know it's not like there's 1,000 videos on YouTube of you singing, which means it may not be something you're paying attention to right now. But about 4 or 5 years ago, there was at least 7, 8 videos from that year, which means you were kind of in like a flow of singing. So like, I guess what happened to that?
So what had happened was I heard myself sing again recently, or like probably 1 or 2 years after that. And I said, oh no. What is this? This ain't it. And I discovered that I'm not really that great at singing like I thought I was in my head. So I was just like, okay, let me put that on the back burner just a little bit.
You know what? I respect that. So whether you are or are not a good singer, which if I'm being fair, I have to listen to a few more of those videos to make a decision for myself. But whether you are or are not, I do always respect an individual who is a little self-aware. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't re-explore that, try to get better and dive back in. But one thing that really, all right, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to go out on a slight low rant. Here's a big pet peeve of mine, all right? Quick rant. Ladies and gentlemen.
Here we go.
If your friend cannot sing, cannot rap, tell them that they cannot sing and they cannot rap. You can support them for a certain amount of time, but there eventually comes a point where you need to keep it $1.50 Tony with your friends and family if they're actually a talented artist or not.
Hallelujah.
Now, let's be fair. You may not be that great of a tastemaker in the singing or rapping world. Maybe you don't understand rap and you shouldn't be somebody judging, but sometimes you just got to keep it $1. You shouldn't be a fake supporter. Now, there's this thing going on social media the past few years where they just expect you to always support your friends no matter what. Reshare my song, reshare my music video. Buddy, Your friend with the iPhone 11 videotaped you in vertical mode in the back seat of a Ford Taurus 2003.
Not a Ford Taurus, 2003.
Toting a gun, rapping, and you can't rap. I'm
no.
not going to share it, okay? And I'm sorry. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I just want y'all to know that you should be self-aware. Maybe listen back to your music a few more times. Don't lie to yourself. Yeah. Keep chasing your dreams, but maybe you need to make a slight adjustment. Maybe you need to do drill rap instead of R&B, okay? Maybe you can't sing.
Or
maybe
be a ghostwriter if you're really good at the lyrics.
Maybe, dab me up real quick. Maybe you got bars like, what's Cuddy name that was getting beat up? Who used to write for Drake? Boss? Who used to write for Drake? Dude's name started with an O. Something Miller. He had to do with that whole Meek Mill, Drake debacle back in the days. And Quentin Miller. You could go be a young Quentin Miller.
You saw the O in there.
Yeah, the Q and the whole thing. Like you might not want to get beat up, but outside of that, you could be making a bag. Anyways, let's dive back into our guest because I was getting off topic there, ladies and gentlemen. So, Tasia Alexandria, a.k.a. Tasia Butler, or Tasia Butler, a.k.a. Tasia Alexandria.
Yeah.
I said Alexander. My bad. Origins of the name. Do you know the storyline behind why your parents named you Tasia?
Oh, yeah. No, I love this story. Thank you for actually asking.
Yes, ma'am. Of course.
That's what we some good questions.
I could be better, but thank you.
No. You're doing good. You're just going to keep on doing better and better. Like,
let's get it.
Keep doing this because this is your thing.
That part.
So with that being said, Tasia means resurrection. My mom got that name from a dream. And we didn't discover, like, she legit was going to name me Monet or something like that. But then last second, she had a dream about the name Tasia. Mm. And then she had the dream about the name Alexandria right after. Mm. And Butler was my dad's given name, still is. So it's just part of the family name. But we found out while we went to the ethnic festival, they had like this little stone that was from wherever they were from. I can't remember where it was from. But he was like, what is your name? I was like, it's Tasia. It's like Asia, but with the T in front. And I also met Rihanna. Mm. That was what I'll tell you more about that.
Yes, please do.
But I'm sorry.
Back to Tasia, then we'll get back to Rihanna.
It made me remember something. I was like, oh, that's for what I forgot to tell you. But yeah, and then he was like, oh, Tasia. He was like, how you spell? I'm like, Tasia. And then he was like, that's the number 9 in Hebrew. Mm. I was like, okay, that's cool. Mm. Yeah, that's how you say it. What? How do you? Tasia. Okay, cool. That's how you say my name now.
There we go. And you said 9, which also, in my religion, the Baha'i faith, is a holy number. 9 and 19 are both considered holy numbers. 19? Yes, 9 and 19. 9 and 19.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how to break down why it's a holy number, so don't ask me that, ladies and gentlemen. I'll get back to you on that. Okay. So you got a very special name. It comes from the dreams, is how it started. Mm-hmm. Is a representative of the number 9 in a historical, beautiful language that ties back to the roots of almost all spiritual religions and things of that nature. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Dab me up for your name. One time for your mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, shout out to your mom.
My mom, God definitely gave her that dream for sure. I was just like, that is so cool.
I love it. And do you happen to have any siblings that you grew up with?
Oh yeah, I had a brother. He was 9 years older than me, oddly enough. Yeah.
There we go. That 9. Number 9 again.
Yeah. He was a cool dude.
I love that.
Very cool.
I love that. I wanna see, between now and the next time we talk, how many more times the number 9 comes up as something semi-special to you. So pay close attention to that if you haven't been already, but continue to, because that's interesting. Just like 5 things right there in the moment. It's like 9, and all powerful things. I love that. Rihanna.
Oh, man. Yeah. I got to meet Rihanna. So I'll go up there, and first off, they were just, her and ASAP, they were just sitting down on the outside, where everybody had to check in at and whatnot.
Yep.
So, I see them sitting outside on the bench, and I'm like, they are really in love. They're beautiful. And they're just like looking on the camera and just like taking screenshots of themselves. They're just like in love. I'm like, this is beautiful. I'm not going to interrupt that. They need time alone. They haven't seen each other all week. Something, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But then go back outside and everybody and their mamas is out there just sitting outside with them, trying to talk with them. I'm like, dang it, I missed my chance to talk to Rihanna. And so as I go out there, she like looks at me up and down. And then she goes like, and I go like, hi, Rihanna. But she was about to leave. She was getting up. Everybody's like, Rihanna, Rihanna. I didn't know what to do. So like this is her shoulder right here. I said, sorry, Mike. And as I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to say hi. So that, and then she was like, she gave up that who was touching me look. And then I was like, hi. I didn't know what to do. And then she was like, oh, hi. I was like, yeah, hi. And then she was like, how are you? She put out her hand. And I said, I am Tasia. Shook her head. Then she was like, I am Rihanna. I was like, I know. And then I just felt so embarrassed. When I went home that night, I cried. I didn't know.
Well, that's a nice experience, though. And I would say, hey, listen, embarrassing or not, you know what I'm saying? Listen, actually, the whole part was good. The only slightly suspect part is the rub like a feather on the shoulder.
I didn't know what to do.
But it's okay. You know, we all freak out in those moments.
She was about to leave. I couldn't just say, Rihanna, wait. We haven't talked.
Well, you know,
I guess I could have, but
could have. I'm just playing. I'm joking. That's awesome. That's sweet. Yes, I will say that whole shoot was very fun, and I will say that if any of you guys thought that what y'all, I ain't gonna call him Pretty Flacco, but I'm gonna say how y'all call him Pretty Flacco. Is really about his pretty shit. He really is, and his luxury vibes or whatever his little interest in luxury clothing or designer. That's the word I was looking for. High fashion is not a joke, ladies and gentlemen. My man had me dying so hard. Me and Daryl was standing next to each other. So they had us holding the little suitcases, things, and they all were like different brand. I don't know, Louis Vuitton, this, that, Burberry, something. Yeah. Anyways, one of his assistants like came up to give us the bags, and then he was like, I want him to hold on to this the blue one, and she's like, oh, the Louis Vuitton, but apparently it was a different brand, and he looked at her like, he laughed and he was like, sweetheart, with a little New York accent. He's like, sweetheart, that's not this, that's Saint Laurent. He was like, that's not this, that's Saint Laurent. And I started cracking up because I was like, anyways, when somebody's known for being a high fashion individual in pop culture, you kind of just think it's a thing people do because they got money and they can do that and they get sent clothing and stuff like that. But that guy really cares about his designer clothing, which is cool because he looks at it as his art. And it's not so much as like, it needs to be, is just for the money and the flex. He's like, nah, I really care about this shit. I know the brands, I know the textures, I know this. So I did think that was pretty funny because he's like, sweetheart. He's like, this is not Louis Vuitton.
He's
this
such
is
a real person.
Yeah, he was really a good guy.
A good guy.
So shout out to the pop culture icons, A$AP Rocky, Rihanna. We ready for another baby. Well, the ladies of the world are ready for y'all to have another baby. I'm gonna go ahead and sign out of that. I ain't gonna lie, your kid is kind of cute. So you know what? We ready for another baby.
Please have more. I like you guys. So,
Tasia, what is something right now that has been getting on your nerves in the world? Like, let's see. I don't want to restrict it to pop culture, but kind of like I just went on a rant about people supporting people that really are trash at certain music just because they're their friend. Is there something like that you feel like is opinion that people would be mad at you for having that you'd be open to sharing?
If they're mad at me for this, I really don't care, but it's more the fact that everything is a spiritual warfare instead of just physical. Everybody wants to be mad at each other for no reason. I wouldn't even say for no reason. It's just that there's something more behind of what everybody else does. You know, we try not to understand each other. We just only feel what we feel and act on it. That's one of my pet peeves. Instead of seeing it from other people's perspective, seeing it as like, okay, what's bothering them, instead of seeing like.
Okay, so just to clarify, I'm hearing you correctly. One thing that bothers you is when people are upset about something, but they see somebody being upset about something or having just a feeling, whatever it is, or supporting something or caring about a sports team. It could be anything. And they judge them for that instead of trying to see it from their perspective. So is that what you mean?
Especially if it's like for a very important thing. Like if you need to communicate, that's like a big factor that everyone needs to work on. How to love better. Love is a skill that everybody should just work on each day.
I love it. And what's something you're working on right now, like in terms of a character trait that you're trying to develop or that you're trying to strengthen? And whatever that is, how are you working on that?
Oh, yeah. Every day I'm working on something, but right now it's a little bit tough for me to, I wouldn't say not take it personally. It's just more of, how can I say this?
We got time.
We do got time?
We got time for you to think.
All right. It's more the fact that I'm over here just being overly sensitive and overthinking and not just doing things. I know that whenever I get too caught up in my own feelings, I kind of forget that I need to actually take action on things that I can take care of. So that's just one of the things.
That you're working on. Interesting. I think that is something I'm always having a conversation with people about, whether it's friends, family, whatever it might be, is that, again, we all, I don't know if this brings you any solace, but that we all are caught up in something we're angry about or excited about or thinking about or want to have or don't have. Essentially, our feelings, emotions, and interactions with the world, we're so caught up with that we kind of forget, there's something that I can change here. So it's like, something I'm always thinking about is like, damn, like, I need some more bread. Like, I need to travel. It's like, well, cool. Like, if you really, 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 really need that bread, you could just go work 60-hour weeks at Amazon and then take up another. You know what I'm saying? Like, it may not be something you want to do, but you get what I'm saying? Like, it's just understanding how much do you really want this thing, or how much do you really want this thing to change, and what all is in your control, and go take action. But like the actual doing of that is always a challenge, I think, for a lot of people. Some harder for some than it is for others, but definitely understand and respect that. Is there something in that world, like a book or a podcast, that you like listening to that have kind of helped you think more in depth about that specifically? Or is there any?
So there's this thing that I like to do. Is either draw out what I'm feeling or draw out just random things that just pop up in my brain, and it kind of helps me to actually see what I'm thinking, or just write down random things that I'm just thinking, and then later on in the evening I read it and I'm like, oh, that's where my brain is actually at. I can actually pinpoint where I need to work on. Another thing is getting closer with God as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Or at least trying to. I'm getting there. That's one thing that I've been learning, is that either you go forward with God or you fall back from God. You never stay complacent. So that's just one thing that I'm really been struggling with lately, is getting closer with him.
I love that. And what was your relationship like with God during your upbringing? Like, how close, what was the family like exposure to that, like that? Damn, Mike Jones. Oh, sorry.
Mike.
I got the producer doing too much work back here trying to turn down the smacking of the mics. But anyways, but yeah, what was your relationship like growing up with God?
Oh, I was very connected with God. I felt like that was my only best friend for the time being. Yeah, I had like physical people here as my best friend, but God was ultimately the person that the being that I would always talk with, communicate with. And I felt like I could hear him, through just like signs and guidance and whatnot, through the people that he would send. But now it's a little bit harder because my brain developed. I felt it develop, and I was just like, oh man, now it's a little bit harder to get connected with him.
Interesting. Yeah. I think one thing I've realized as I transition through my 20s is like a lot of people go through, especially if they had a strong relationship with God growing up, or with God or religion, because I think there are two separate things. Like there's like that genuine spiritual relationship and connection that you have with God, in terms of like you feel tied in, you feel like you hear his or her voice, and like you can kind of see things pop up and you're like, and then you get older and you start questioning things, which is kind of a good thing though, because I think a lot of people's relationship gets threatened, but it's not really a threat. It's really just an opportunity for you to strengthen that relationship even deeper. Because when you start to learn more and you're like, damn, okay, well then how come this happens? Because you are able to think. But then when you like really start to search and you go through that process of investigation and you come back to the ground level again, you're like, damn, okay, so all these things I didn't understand that then pissed me off, that then made me question God, is the reason that God exists in the first place. And then you're like, oh shit, I love you, God. And then you die. Yeah. But no, it's a beautiful process though, I think, even though it's frustrating.
It's very frustrating. There are parts where I'm like, yeah, God, this is amazing. And then there are other parts where I'm like, what are you doing? What is wrong with you? I want to fight you, Lord.
Hey, straight up, I want y'all to put a raised hand emoji in the comment section on YouTube if y'all ever squared up with God. I'm just being honest, you know what I'm saying? Like, respectfully, I love you. Straight up, and obviously you're the most powerful. But like sometimes you ever just squared up with the air. You seen Boys in the Hood?
Yes.
You remember when he come home after his boy got shot and he hopped out the car because he didn't want to go through with the get back, and he gets home and his dad's like, "What's wrong?" And he's like,
he's just angry.
And then he just start punching the air. He's like,
yeah.
Speaking of that, in acting, quick tie-in. Have you seen Snoop Dogg's when he tried to try out for that role?
What? No. What?
You gotta go watch that on YouTube.
Are you serious?
He tried to try out for that role, and you
well, he was in like a whole lot of movies back. Like,
yo, that shit was hilarious.
Okay.
Yo, go watch that. It's the funniest thing when he starts punching the sky and everything. But look, we all punched up at that guy one time, and then he probably put us back in our place. But look, at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we all just on a journey and process through life. And within this process, we have experiences, we meet new people, we have conversations like this that help us think more and help us get to know people so that we can like grow and delve deeper into other people's lives so that we can draw inspiration from their life to apply to our life. And the process just keeps going and going as long as God blesses us to be here on earth. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you for making time to come on the show today. There's obviously 1,000 more things we could talk about. We could go on for hours and hours to dive deeper and deeper, but these conversations are really just an opportunity for guests to tell their story a little bit, and then for the audience to get a short introduction to then have that inspiration internally to go have further conversation with you on their own time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this conversation. And hopefully you enjoyed this conversation.
I did.
Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you want to talk about today before we wrap up the show?
I don't know. Your favorite color?
Well, quickly, ladies and gentlemen, black and red are my favorite colors.
That's cool.
I don't look the best in black and red. I look good in yellow. Sorry, Mike Jones. I look good in cream and sand, but red and black are my favorite colors. Good colors. They look good in cars. They look good.
They do. Especially the matte black and matte red.
Matte black G-Wagon, ladies and gentlemen, with a red and black interior, with the matte black matte. I don't even know how to say it because I'm not into cars, but the chrome black wheels. With red little initials of my initials on there in cursive, CS. Just wait on it. And I'm gonna be like, babe, this your new car. And she's like, why you got your initials on it? I'll be like, my bad. I forgot this was for you and not for me. But nah, I appreciate you asking about my favorite color. I appreciate you coming on to the show today. Before we sign out, where should people look out for you? How can they follow you? How can they stay up to date with your journey? And maybe they are like, hey, I need her in my next movie, and they want to shoot you about some business. Where should they find you?
Okay. Instagram is TasiaTopia9. And then Facebook is Tasia Alexandria, and IMDb is Tasia Alexandria. That's where you found all my stuff, didn't you?
Yep. You already know what it is. And backstage.
Backstage,
acting and all that. You know what I'm saying? Which, side note, ladies and gentlemen, when I say backstage, for all y'all thoughterific, dirty,
oh, right.
Anyways, backstage, not back page, ladies and gentlemen. And with that being said, this is the Voices of Value podcast. This is your host, CIZZY, signing out of episode 173.